So this video is on solving one-step equations using multiplication and division. The goal again is to get the variable by itself, and in order to solve, you're using opposite operations. So if the original problem was asking you to multiply, the opposite of that would be to divide. For my first example, I have 3x is equal to 6. Right now I want to get the x by itself, which is why I have it in a box. Right now the operation is telling you to multiply. If there's not a sign or an operation in between the number and the variable, it's understood to be multiplication. So the opposite of multiplying is going to be dividing by 3 on both sides. When I divide both sides by 3, 3 divided by 3 gives me 1, 6 divided by 3 gives me 2, or just a simple x is equal to 2. My notes over here on the right say anytime you have a variable with coefficients, like our 3x, the operation is understood to be multiply. So the opposite, like I said, is to divide on both sides. For example 2, it reads x divided by 2 is equal to 8. Again, the goal is to get the variable by itself, so I've put a box around it. Right now it's telling you to divide by 2, so the opposite of division would be multiplication on both sides. Dividing by 2 and multiplying by 2 is going to give you 1. 8 times 2 is going to give you 16. So your final answer is going to be x equals 16. I have 2 more examples, and like the previous video, I'm going to work them out in real time for you. So the first problem is x divided by 4 is equal to negative 2. Remember, fractions mean to divide. So fractions equal division. So if it's now saying x divided by 4, the opposite of dividing it by 4 is going to be to multiply. So I'm going to multiply both sides by 4. Multiplying and dividing by the same number cancel it. So I'm just left with my x. And a negative 2 times a positive 4 is going to give me a negative 8. And for the last example, this isn't that hard of an example, I just want you to be mindful of your negative signs. So right now, you have that coefficient attached to your variable without an operation, so it's understood to be multiplication. The opposite of multiplying is dividing. I want to get rid of that coefficient, so I'm going to divide both sides by a negative 3. A negative divided by a negative gives you a positive, and 3 divided by 3 is 1. So I'm going to be left with my x. And again, a negative divided by a negative gives me a positive. 9 divided by 3 is 3. So your answer would be a positive 3.